One of the things I hear people say most when they're starting out in film photography is that they don't know how to load the film into their camera, and they're afraid to start because they don't want to mess it up. So today, I'm going to show you how to load your film into your camera and everything you need to know to get started. First thing you need to know is how to open your camera. Whether you have a point and shoot like this or you have an SLR, it's important to know how to get the camera to open so that you can put the film in, and also how to take the film out. For cameras like this point and shoot, there will be a little switch on the side of the camera. Pull that down and the back of the camera is going to open up. For film cameras like this, you're going to have a rewind lever. It's going to be on the top of the camera, and this little middle piece is going to pop up so that you can rewind your film when you're done taking pictures. And we'll go over that in just a minute. But this column right here pops up. And when you pop this column up, it opens the back of the camera. So for this camera, you just pull it up. Sometimes there are little switches that you have to push forward and then pull this column up in order for it to open all of the way. But generally, you pull this up and the back pops open. This part of the film is what we refer to as a leader. It's the portion of the film that manufacturers intentionally pull outside of the canister so that you have easy access to it so that you can insert it into your camera, but also it's already been exposed to light, and there's a little bit more film leader inside that's wound up so that when you pull it across the back of the camera, it's not exposing any of your picture frames, it's just exposing the leader to light, which has already been pre-exposed, and you're not going to lose any pictures on this roll of film. You should also make sure that you're setting your ISO to whatever it says on the film that you've purchased. Here it's set to 400 because we're going to put Ilford HP5 in this camera, and that is a 400 ISO film. All right, you have the back of your camera open and you have your film. Now you're going to take your leader and you're going to fit it into one of these slots. It doesn't matter which one, and you're going to make sure that these sprockets line up with the sprocket holes on your film. That's what they're for. It's going to allow it to pull the film and advance it as you're taking photos. Slip it into one of these slots so that the sprocket holes line up with the sprockets on this take-up reel. And then you're going to drag the canister across the back of the film until it slips into that other side. And then I'm going to rotate this take-up spool until I have overlapped the film onto it at least one time, and then I'm going to close the back. Once your film is in your camera, you're going to advance this crank lever a few times, and that's going to get your film ready for you to take your first photo. This is going to tell you how many pictures you've taken, and once you've taken an image, you should notice that frame counter moving. That's how you know the film is moving across the back of the camera properly. Once you've taken your first photo, you do need to advance your film. So you'll take an image and you will move this crank again so the film can move across the back of the camera and you're ready to take your next picture. If you don't advance your film, some cameras will take a double exposure, meaning you take a picture, you don't advance your film, and then you go to take another picture, and that picture superimposes itself on top of the first image and you get a double exposure. It's a really fun technique to explore, but if you're not intending to do that, it can accidentally happen with some cameras. So make sure every time you take a photo, you're advancing your film to the next frame. You've taken all of your pictures, and now you have to take the film out of the camera. Before you can open the back of the camera, you have to rewind the film back into the canister. In order to do this, you're going to have to release the film. If you have an SLR camera like this, there will be a button on the bottom of the camera to release the film. You're going to depress that button, and then you're going to lift that crank arm up on the column that you pushed down to hold the film in before, and you're going to rotate that crank arm in the direction of the arrow that is on the arm. You're going to do this until you do not feel tension on that arm anymore. My safety check is always whether or not this arm spins back or it stays in place as to whether or not the film is back in the canister. Pull up your column once more to open the back of the camera and take your film out. And now you're ready to send it to a lab. If you have a camera that has an automatic rewind, your camera will have an icon that looks like this here. You're going to move the switch towards that icon and you'll hear the film start to rewind in the camera. Don't open the camera until that sound is gone because you will expose the film to light and you will lose whatever pictures are exposed to light when you do that. I give it like a 5 count after I think it's done, and usually that's a good safe point. Then you can open the back of the camera and send your film to the lab. If you are developing your film at home yourself, I have a couple videos to help you along with that process. You can find that here. And if you are sending it out to a lab, I will make sure I put a list of all of my favorites down in the description so that you can compare prices and see if that is a good fit for you. So now you know how to load the film into your camera, how to take your film out of the camera, and what to do while you're taking pictures. Let's talk a little bit about film itself. If you are a beginner, I highly recommend you start on a black and white film. I like using Ilford HP5. I still use it today. It is my go-to black and white film because I love the contrast this film has. It's not too punchy. It does well in low light. It also does well on a bright sunny day. The reason for that is because this film has great latitude. I know that sounds scary. All you need to know is that great latitude means it has the ability to capture the details in the highlights and also the shadows, even if it is overexposed or it is underexposed. You have a lot of forgiveness with film that has great latitude, and HP5 does exactly that. Starting with a black and white film is going to train your eye to pay attention to light and to shadows, and you're going to become a better photographer because of it. And stylistically, it is a very classic look. As a side note, I do have some of my original prints listed on my website for sale, so if you are interested in that, you can find a link for that in the description as well. And now you know how to load film into your camera. If you are new to photography, I have a few videos on film basics, as well as how to develop film at home yourself. So make sure you do go ahead and check those out. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I'm Tilly Scholl, and I'll catch you on the next one.